Hey, welcome to my Warframes Where They Are Now series, a little series I've had brewing in the back of my mind since the early days of Warframe, quote unquote. I'm going to put this little intro at the beginning of every video in this series. If you've heard this once or more, feel free to skip it. This is just my opinion and is not guaranteed to be fact. Remember, with Warframe, everyone plays at least a little different from each other. That's why there's 52 frames as of making this intro, of course. That being said, I do plan on being as objective as I can with this series. But bias will always be a potential problem, and will definitely shine through in certain episodes, if not all. Now, that being said, I hope you enjoy the series. April 8th, 2023, as usual, noting the date because DE updates frames. And yes, I actually did start writing the script for Trinity before I wrote the script for Volt. Trinity has always been a weird frame for me. I get why she's good, I understand why she was meta, but I almost never use her. According to my profile, I use her 0.3% of the time and only have 47 kills on her. Kinda confused by that, simply because of the fact that I have her Steel Path ready and have 3 Forma in her. But who the hell knows, honestly. Actually, funny enough, in the production of this video has increased my use of her greatly. Base stats for level 30 Trinity Prime, she has 125 armor, 300 health, 450 shields, and 225 energy. And apparently 1.1 sprint speed, as opposed to the typical 1. Something to note, I guess. Granted, she was from an era where that actually mattered. Fun fact, movement in Warframe used to be very different, and I do mean very. That's a topic for a different day, though. Remember how I said I hardly ever use her? I'm actually going to play with her a bit in between the editing process and let you know my thoughts about her at the end on the quote-unquote conclusion. As for her passive, she revives fallen enemies 25% faster and from 50% farther away. I honestly think it's the perfect passive for a frame exactly like Trinity. Legit, it actually does something really nice, and it blends quite well with the rest of her kit. Her first ability lets you feed your vampiric tendencies by beating the fuck out of some poor soul for some health. Granted, just standing near them also helps as well as keep you immune from status effects. Not too shabby for her first ability, if you ask me. Speaking of vampirism, her second ability, Energy Vampire, lets you steal energy from enemies. Greedy bastard she is. Hilariously enough, it's better to go with negative duration on this ability, since the shorter duration gives you faster energy draw. I always find it funny given there's a shortage of negative duration frames. Frankly, I helmeted off for Citrine's first because as much as I love how it works and how strong it is, I like to have a duration for the rest of my kit, and frankly Citrine's works better if I want to do that. Her third ability turns her into Stuffy Doll from Magic the Gathering and ships any damage she receives to enemies that decide to get a little too close. It's kinda nice given the damage reduction that it serves, but her fourth ability's got that covered. However, I would still use it for the sole purpose of killing enemies faster because why the fuck not? As for my build, the obligatory Energize, Arcane Blessing because of Citrine's first, and aside from that I run a bit of everything stat-wise, but I tried to focus slightly more on duration, as she is one of the few where I feel it's necessary. Archon Shard-wise, I don't have any yet, but I'd run 1 for armor and casting speed, and 3 for duration. Nowadays, she's primarily used for Eidolon hunting because she can keep the lures and the players alive. Granted, most of the time, Eidolons are absolutely infested with Volts, but no one is ever mad to see a Trinity arrive. Trinity is an interesting case, a frame that you typically only play with others. Something that even the other healer frames do not really suffer from all that much. She's not bad, but even though she's quite good, it's really only used for one thing these days. She doesn't really have any weapon synergies that I know of, granted there might be, like Loki or Mag do, but honestly I just run whatever is best for you in that department. Editing Sandirian here. Honestly, after using her for a bit, yeah, she feels fine. I do prefer Harrow, but honestly she's pretty fucking solid at what she does. I've never been big into healers, but I think they did good with this one. I know up to this point I've said every frame is good. Believe me, there are a couple bad ones. There's actually one I'm kind of nervous about making a video on, because that particular frame still has a lot of fans. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, won't we? Probably my shortest one of these, but that being said, thank you all for watching, and have a great day.